man.
Thank you to Bassano. Whew, I'm full. Please go get Dom IRRERA and bring him in. He's waited long enough, Spanish. Dom IRRERA is a legendary comedian, and you will see him at Side Splitters this weekend. This is one of the things about Dom is, I got something on my mustache. Dom has been around for a while, but he has the respect of all the new comedians.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, man, I forgot Harvey Levin's at 9:30. Spanish, you're not a very good producer. We got Harvey Levin at 9:30. There's Dom IRRERA.
How you doing?
How you doing? Sit right here so I can stare in your beautiful face.
I want to see that. Hi.
We saved you a lobster cheesecake if you want to try it. Bobby Jewell, how are you doing, buddy?
Michael.
How you doing, my man? Good to see you.
Good. I already had lobster cheesecake.
You did?
Yeah, this morning.
Did you really?
No.
Oh, you mean
Well,
before
I'm
you came here? I thought you meant out there.
No.
How about a guy I know married that Topanga chick?
What about her?
You remember when you were on that show? Was it
sure.
Boy Meets World?
Uh-huh.
We always talk about her when you come in here. And a guy I know married her, knocked her up and everything.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that incredible?
I was sitting getting makeup next to one of Jim Carrey's ex-girlfriends, blonde, really pretty blonde. Anyway, she comes in and jumps in my lap, starts kissing me.
Yeah.
On the head and all. And these girls are looking at me. Who is this mook? How you doing, man?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good.
Great to see you.
Me too.
I have so many questions. I got in a wormhole of Rodney Dangerfield the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It started first, I was just watching him on Carson a couple of times. Then it was something else. Then next thing you know, I think he was on Howard one time, and it was a real revealing interview. Were you close with him?
Yeah.
Was he a good dude?
He had like a group of us that he's always helping us out. One time I asked him, I says, what about you?
Yeah.
Do you need anything? Because you're always getting stuff for us. I said to him, last time I saw him, he goes, I said, can I do anything for you, kid? I go, yeah, close your robe. I want to see your little purple nuts.
When I was a kid, I had to be like in maybe 6th or 7th grade. They filmed Easy Money in Staten Island where I was growing up, and they used my parish's church where I went to school. I went to a elementary school that had attached to a church, and that's where the big wedding scene was. And I hear it too. You hear music?
I think your thing's still up.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so I got to meet him, and it's so funny because he was wearing just a robe. but the whole
He used to
thing
go around town like that.
Oh, yeah.
In New York, he'd have Coke in the back of a limo. He's snorting before he goes home with no underwear.
Eddie Murphy just had a thing. They had it on line where he was talking about Rodney Dangerfield. He got to perform with him when he was like 18 or something, and asked Rodney if he could watch his act. And afterwards, Rodney said, I don't know, with all the racial stuff and this and that. And he goes, I don't know how far you can take that. And he said then years later, he was out in Vegas and doing a big show out there, and Rodney Dangerfield was in the bathroom, and he went in, and Rodney looked at him, and he goes, who knew?
So I guess he was in it and did it for a while.
Yeah.
And then he really wasn't gaining any traction and had to leave and go back to being a house painter. He quit.
He put aluminum siding on.
Aluminum siding, that's what it was. So that he said that they would go out and give out estimates, and they were like, you were just on the Tonight Show. And he was like, now I got siding.
He came in the Comedy Store to see me for the special. That special was unbelievable anyway. One night, we're not famous. Next night, we're famous.
Right.
I go to Atlanta. I go, wow, who's playing here? It's only Tuesday. They go, you are. I didn't even know it was on the air yet.
Isn't that the best feeling in the world?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember I had my 40th birthday at the Hard Rock here. And I got off the elevator, and the line was by the elevator. And I went, what's going on here? And they're like, this is the line for your birthday. I was like, what? That's the greatest thing. Yeah. So before the comedian special hit, how was business? Just average?
It wasn't close to that one night, because don't forget there were very few specials. Now now you're special if you don't have a special. Here's a guy who doesn't have a special. You probably won't hear him anywhere. Give him a hand. But Rodney was just he came in to see me. It was Barry Sobel. Remember him?
Yeah.
Damon Wayans and myself. And we were all supposed to do 10 minutes.
That's a joke. A white guy, a Jew, and a black guy.
So a Jew walks in out of nowhere. But Rodney came in to see me, and Damon did 25 minutes, and then Barry did 25 minutes, and I'm supposed to do 10. So I'm pissed. Right. So I get on stage, and all I do is lay into them. What did Damon think he was going to get funnier after 20 minutes? All of a sudden, it's going to kick in. And Rodney comes up and he goes, listen, kid, you're funny, but do you have an act or what? All you do is lay into people. I said, well, that's not even a good Rodney, is it? I don't want to go all the way because I feel a little hokey.
Yeah.
But he saw me the next week. He says, all you do is lay into people. I said, well, I got an act. So I did, and then I got the gig.
Oh, that's good. That was it from the one time he saw you?
Yeah.
No kid. So I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of the way he was in the business, that's why he had spent most of his career helping out the young comics.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was successful for him
Because he wanted to stick it to a lot of the old comics who didn't do anything for him.
Yeah. Why do you think? Is that a jealousy thing, or was he?
I don't know. I mean, the greatest hook ever. And, that hook, I get no respect.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I love to see kids laughing at him. It doesn't matter at that age. But he would come on, just rifle out material.
Yeah.
And because he had a fight with Carson, too. He's always fighting people.
Why do you think I always see online he was on there? It seemed like Carson loved him.
Yeah, later when he brought him back. But at first, he was. The funny thing about him, when he was serious, he was at his funniest.
Yeah.
But you couldn't hear him, because in those days, especially, there weren't not many venues for a guy that dirty.
Right. And that was considered that dirty back then?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. And so you had the Young Comedian special, but what about, before? So the only other thing making a comic was the Tonight Show before that.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. If you didn't get on that, you were at Jimmy's Clam Bar in Bayonne.
I know you say these names like Barry Sobel. I know Barry Sobel.
Yeah.
And because I used to just stay up
Michael,
and watch.
You know all of us. You're one of us.
No, I'm not one of you, but I do know. I'm a fan for such a long time.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I was telling you probably know about this. Who was in here? I was asking him about it the other day, and we were talking about when I called Saget. Who was in here?
Craig Gass.
Oh, okay. And I was saying there was a show on in New York that Bill Boggs hosted, a comedy show.
I was on it. I was
okay.
on it with Cheech and Chong.
Oh, really?
That was cool.
And it was on like a Saturday night at midnight or whatever. Yeah. And I was a kid, and I'd stay up or I'd tape it, and I'd watch it, and then I'd watch it 1,000 times after that because there was no internet. There was no other way to get stand-up comedy. And I couldn't go to the clubs. Yeah,
isn't that weird that they had to smuggle? And also dirty material like Mom's Mabley and all these old black acts that you couldn't get anywhere. That was the only venue we had for them.
And that was, for me, like I'd found out about those acts in my adult life. And I went back and would watch all these things and listen to it. And I feel like they're owed that. All right, so I have another thing to ask you about. And this is not
ask away, my friend.
This has nothing to do with you, but just because of your time in the comedy business and you being around so long. And Bobby, maybe you know because you and Carla both are friends. So this kid, Richard Pryor's kid, pops up and says that Richard was going to kill Mooney. What's his name?
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney.
With his love stick?
Yeah. Well, he says that. Him and Paul Mooney had a sexual relationship, and when Richard Pryor found out about it, he was going to hire a hitman and kill him. And it never. I guess that's when he got sick, and it never happened. Blah blah blah. So they asked him about this on a podcast that they do out of the Comedy Store, and in that thing, he says that one day he's over hanging out with Sam and Carl, and Sam says to him, I like to do anything that's bad. Would you have sex with me? Not in those words. Mm-hmm. And then the kid said, all right, put on some porn
with me and Carl.
Well, I don't know, did he say, he said me and Carl? Oh, you have it?
Yeah, let me find it real quick.
This is from the podcast. See, the reason why I'm asking you is because we had the kid on and I asked him about Mooney and he got all upset and he hung up the phone, so I never got to ask him.
Who is he?
Richard Pryor's son.
Oh, okay.
So and evidently then we had Jimmy Schubert in here, and Schubert said he never saw Sam go that way. Play it just so Dom could hear it.
We were up at Sam's house.
Oh, yeah.
And Sam's talking to me, and he's like, Carl and I think you're hot. I'm like, what?
Carl LeBeau?
Yeah. And I'm like, what?
All right, this is totally true.
Wait.
Totally true.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said,
there's a volume button.
I like to do anything that's bad. Would you me? This is Sam Kinison. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, would you me? And the first thing out of my mouth was,
hell no.
Do you have any porn?
So anyway, that's the bottom line. So Sam asked Richard Pryor Jr. to have sex with him. Supposedly they did. And then we tried to call Carl. And Carl, now you were friends with Carl. Carl wouldn't take the phone call. He got all nervous and wouldn't take it. Now I'm starting to think that this may be true.
Well, I was promised not to say anything about any of this by Sam's ex-girlfriend. So I will take the 5th, 6th, and 7th Amendments.
That's
I've heard it. I've heard it. I have no idea.
And I mean, you really have a discussion with her, or you'd
I
rather
was
just
actually
not
making love to Dice at the time. You know what? Very gentle for a big Jewish man. I heard. Who knows what's true?
I'm saying all the drugs and all that stuff. I just want somebody. I couldn't care less. I want somebody to go, oh, yeah, Sam was crazy. He would do anything. Because it sounds like something that you go, oh, well, okay, I get it.
Well, hey, I got an idea. What's on TV tonight? Nah, it's a little different than TV. We're going to do it live, me and you. I don't know. They always say it at the Laugh Factory, like, hey, that's where it happened. And Jamie Masada, the owner, he takes. By the way, I'm at Side Splitters tonight.
Yes, I know.
Just to throw that in. I mean, I was in the neighborhood anyway. We had to stop.
Thank you. Jamie has been on the show, remember that? Because of you.
Oh, yeah.
We called Jamie when Ralphie was here.
Right.
Now he's never going to get his money from Ralphie. That's never going to happen.
That's true.
What do you know, Bobby, what do you know about Carl? Carl ever say anything about that stuff?
No.
No. Well, I think we should start pressing Carl about this information. Like he hasn't been through enough already. Yeah. Side Splitters is, of course, in Carrollwood. 960-1197 is the number, or sidesplitterscomedy.com, where you can make your reservation online.
I asked you not to plug the gig.
I know, but it's the least I could do with lobster cheesecake in the room is to help you out.
I was we were doing this movie with Rodney. I was just making just his personality, and it was like one of his last movies. He played like the handsome swashbuckler at 85, you know. So he goes, Harry Basil, the director, goes, all right, let's do it one more time. And he goes, Harry, we're gonna do one more time for that's bull, you know. And he looks at me, he goes, why do we got to keep doing it? And Rodney, it's a movie.
Yeah.
You got to do it one more time. If we did it just to time, we'd be out of here in 90 minutes.
What's his best movie?
I said Back to School.
I mean, I can watch Back to School every time it's on.
Sam, is that the one? Sam has that great scene.
Yeah, where he's the teacher.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It's so funny because I referenced that movie when Rodney's in the economics class and he's having a hard time with the teacher, and I reference it when I'm talking, when people bring up Trump, and they're like, do I think Trump did probably cross the line on this Ukraine thing? Yeah. But do I think that he should be impeached? No. Because Rodney explains it really well. You want to build a building in New York? You have to grease the mob. You have to grease the guy. You got to know how to do business the right way. And sometimes you have to take a little away, and sometimes you have to give a little. If you're an experienced guy, you know how to negotiate that way. That's what I learned from Back to School.
The thing I don't like about Trump has nothing to do with presidency. I knew him. We used to do radio at his place, the Trump Plaza.
Right.
He was always bragging.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but it's kind of sad. It's like, you're already this? Do you have to brag about?
I used to, when I was a kid and he had his name on everything, and people used to say that, and I never understood why people got annoyed by it. Then I realized how gaudy it was when you get older.
Yeah.
But that's become his. I mean, I don't know, for a president, do you want that? No, but that's become his character, you know what I mean? That's how he is. But, I mean, you know him personally at that point, so...
I mean, he would brag to me, like, what are you bragging to me for? I'm just a hack with a hook. You know?
That's an insecurity. That's you want people to constantly approve of you.
He said to me, he goes, I never give anybody money. What I do is I give them titles. They're happy with that, and I don't lose any money. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, like, I don't give a guy any bucks, but I make him vice president. He goes, it means nothing.
Right, but he's calling that.
What a prick you are.
Smart prick who's got all of his money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It didn't hurt that his father was. He gave him a head start on the other kids.
Yeah, that's true, but not nearly as much as he's accumulated. I mean, over time, he's been a successful businbusinessman.
He was perfect for that show.
Totally.
That was him being the way he really is and showing off. And
yeah.
I mean, I don't care. I'm amazed that 50% of the country thinks the other 50% are stupid.
Yes, and they're both stupid.
Yeah.
Both sides. Because I watch the. Sometimes I want to defend Trump because people are so ridiculous. But
yeah,
I feel like I'm
do
forced
everything.
to.
He can't make your cousin Louis get a job.
Right.
You got to get off the couch first, Louis.
This is DOM IRRERA who is here with us. You still hanging with Tosh?
Yeah, but he has a baby now, so
he does.
Yeah, he's. It's funny we were talking about the generations and all. I'm really lucky because I guess because I was nice to people, but they all remember it. It's like Mark Maron was on my podcast one time, and I said, "Thanks for coming in, Mark. I know things are cooking for you. You're busy." He goes, "Don will do anything for you." He says, "When I was about dead on coke, driving the limousine to the Comedy Store around, he goes, you were nice to me and you tried to help me." I said, "Well, you're supposed to be nice to people. It's not that big a deal."
Right.
And Chris D'Elia said something really cool. He goes, "So where were you you. He said, I don't think of you as older than us. I just think of you as one of us.
Yeah,
And how
that's
much-
important. I mean, that's a because I'm sure they learn a lot from just having you around with all your experiences, as successful as they are.
But they're cool to me. You know, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, like when Bill Burr did that rant, and I was
Philly?
Him?
In Philly?
Yeah. The Camden.
Yeah.
Correct geography, please.
Sorry.
But I mean, I knew he was up to something because I said to the audience, I said, well, like a couple of people booed me, but I'm from Philly. I do fine there.
Right.
I do the casinos. And I said to them, I said, look, I know you guys are booing me. I says, you live with you live with your mother in a mother's basement. You got your AC/DC T-shirts. I said, I made $12,000 in 10 minutes, so. Have your way with me, right? And then Bill, he grabs my hand like I knew something was up. He goes, "They booed Dom IRRERA." I go, "I am Dom IRRERA. Lighten up, just do your act." And he goes, "F them."
Yeah.
And he go, I sit on the speaker, and you've heard the rant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My favorite line is, and by the way, the Liberty Bell. F you, the Liberty Bell. And I'm thinking, what the Liberty Bell?
There were so many. My favorite was when he started talking about having living with your mother, you have pimples on your back. And then he's like, you got a statue of a fake boxer. You have 2 championship boxers in the game. You got a fake boxer outside.
Well, we had a night in Kilkenny that was the best man date I ever had. Because I'm like established in Kilkenny, and he wasn't at the time. And he says, do me a favor, take me to the back bars in here. There's places you know that the public doesn't know. We went, I swear to God, you know, like there's laughs, especially black guys have laughs where they fall down.
Yeah.
I never fell down before. We were crying, laughing. Just stupid stuff, you know. The guy be like drunk lying on the bar, his head, and we start singing. Said about, you know, that kind of Irish songs. But man, he's probably the funniest offstage.
Burr is.
Burr can make you cry, laugh.
Yeah. He's great. He's one of those guys that, like Tosh, used to come on the show, then got too famous. That's how it goes.
He doesn't like it. The thing about Daniel is he's already made it, so he doesn't want to ruin it by saying something stupid.
Well, that's smart.
You know, he told me, he says, I'll do your podcast when I'm done this show.
Mm-hmm. I saw, by the way, he sneaked out about 5 more seasons than I thought he would on that show, on Tosh.0. I haven't seen it in a while just because I have kids. It's hard to watch TV, but we used to die over it. We used to not only love the show, but we'd find some of the people he had on the show, we'd have to go find them to have them on our show now.
I felt like he was my retarded son.
Yeah.
And we would go to the gym and just talk.
Yeah.
And like we go to a different, you know, the barbells, and we never did anything. But he, you know, he's really brilliant. You know.
What's his chick like?
She's cool.
Super hot?
She said to me, she goes, what do you say when people ask if he's gay?
Yeah.
I said, I always say, he doesn't really kiss like a gay guy. She goes, can I use that? I go, yeah, you can use it. It's not like a part of my head.
I didn't know for the first couple of seasons of the show. I didn't know him. I didn't know if he was gay or not.
He loves playing with that.
Yeah, he's great at it. He doesn't care. And then they had that episode where he went to the college campuses and he would get the phone numbers from all these girls and he'd call them live on the air, and you could see it in his eyes how much he loved that.
Oh yeah.
He might have babies around the country. Dom IRRERA, go see him at Side Splitters this weekend. I promise you, one of the great comedians. I want to say one of the first times I ever went to a comedy club was to a Dom IRRERA show. It was Richard Jeni and Dom IRRERA were my 2 earliest.
Wow, he's brilliant.
Bobby, what was the comedy club that was in South Tampa, like on maybe a Zeal and Dale Mabry? Like in that area.
Was it the Comedy Works?
I don't remember.
It's on Himes and Kennedy.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That sounds right.
Strip club now, I think.
Oh, I was there and I went to see.
I think.
Yeah. I went to see. It was I think that was the first stand-up show that I ever went to see. I was old enough to get in, and it was Richard Jeni, who I knew from probably watching.
He was brilliant, huh?
He was great. And then one day I had him on the show, on the morning show, and I was like, this was in the 90s, and I go, I just feel like you should be more famous now. Like, you were so funny for so long.
Richard.
Yeah. And then I didn't realize that I was adding to his depression as I was telling him these things.
You think it's a compliment and it hurts him.
Yeah, exactly. Go see Dom. I promise you won't be disappointed. Sidesplitterscomedy.com or 960-1197. Thank you for getting up early and coming and hang out.
Thanks. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. Tell everybody, where do I find your podcast? I didn't know about this. Now I want to go listen to this.
Laugh Factory. You know, check out the one with Bill Burr and Jamie.
Okay.
Because we would get people calling in, hey, you know, you guys are really funny, but you got to drop the little Mexican. First of all, he's like Middle Eastern. Everybody you can't think of, they must be Mexican.
I guarantee you that the Bill Burr that you heard on Robert Kelly's podcast is not the same Bill Burr you hear with DOM IRRERA either. So now I have something to listen on the way home. We'll take a quick break. It's the Mike Calta Show. It's 102.5 The Bone.
You're listening to the Mike Calta Show on 102.5 The Bone.